Just note to self, 9/11.
Europhysics News, a major European physics magazine, published an article asserting that the destruction of the Twin Towers and Building 7 was accomplished with controlled demolition.
And Biggles. And for Yorkshire Lass Tracy, are you aware of the Lord of the Rings cartoon? I forget who made it. It might be Baz Luhrmann, someone like that. I don't know, I'll check it out. Yeah, Lord of the Rings cartoon made in the late 70s. I'll come back to that later as well. So, where was I? Weather's rubbish today. Dr Judy Wood, for my money, is the controlled opposition. And if you'll bear with me, I'll tell you why. I think, especially if you're one of those who like looking into the Illuminati cards and things, I think 9/11 was supposed to be a nuke. I think there was supposed to be a nuclear explosion. I don't think it went wrong. I think this plan was taken out of hands and something else was perpetrated. And I think the ones who wanted to drop the nuke say it was a nuke on New York, Nuke York. I think they've taken advantage of the situation, because I don't think anyone stood up and went, oh no, we did that, not you. And so they took advantage of that situation, went with their normal spiel about the guys who jumped on the plane with box cutters and crap. But then they also sent out Dr Judy Wood, who told the truth. And they don't know what happened. They don't know what happened to the buildings or how they collapsed. And so they put her out there to say exactly that. She keeps mentioning nuclear activity. She's adamant that it has to be some type of nuclear weapon, free energy weapon. I mean, alright, let's say, far-fetched maybe, let's say that the Nazis did go down to Antarctica and create their own separate civilization. It was their technology that brought the towers down, not the nuke. Right, so the towers were going to come down that day and people were going to die. So instead of the whole of New York going, the Nazis, whoever they are, took down the towers and the surrounding buildings. It's not quite like that, but it's extreme. And what has this got to do with Biggles? So anyone that ain't heard of Biggles, it was a film made in the 80s. I can't remember many of the stars, but I do know Peter Cushing was in it. And it's a time travel film about an American party host, I suppose, who travels back in time to meet a World War II pilot to try and defeat the Nazis. The Nazis have a secret weapon, and it's their job, this American chap, Alex I think his name is, and Biggles, the hero, to go and stop the secret weapon. The secret weapon is a sound wave machine. And in a complete reverse to the 9/11 dustification theory, the sound weapon destroys all organic matter, flesh, trees, everything. Nothing's left but the rocks and the stones and the metal. You understand? It was an interesting film. I loved it as a child. I love it now. It's not on TV very often. It's not the best made, of course. It was made in the 80s. But the sound machine, the sound technology, when people talk about this to move the pyramids and on all sorts, you've seen the lady singing and breaking the glass. Oh, yeah? I know that technology of sound blast to get kids away from shops. I know that's real. My hearing's just good enough to still catch it. I don't think you can find it, but when they was testing it about 6, 7, 8 years ago, it's horrible. Well, I never use it. But it is real. What if there was some sort of high frequency energy weapon, free or not, that was used to take down the towers and the surrounding buildings? You understand? But it wasn't done by the usual suspects. Right? They wanted to stick a nuke on an aeroplane and blow the whole city up. You understand? Some of it, I know, is a bit wishful thinking, a bit far-fetched. But there's not many explanations as to what happened on that day, you understand? I don't believe the official story. I don't believe Dr Judy Wood. I listen to the architects and engineers. But if everybody in this picture is missing a piece of the picture, then they're all going to get it wrong. And I think there is a piece of the picture missing, you understand? I don't know if it's a hidden civilization. If you lived on the globe and thought like that, you might say it was aliens, you know? If you live on the puddle lane. So if you live on the puddle plain, you know, maybe it's another civilization, you know. Maybe they put a nuke on the airplane and it just all went wrong. To me, it don't look like that. Some of the reactions you heard, some of the reactions you saw, I really honestly think George Bush was expecting something else to happen. He was expecting something, but not quite that. Do you understand? And so their damage control was Judy Wood, you know? Tell them the truth, we don't know where the buildings went. And you heard that reaction of Dick Cheney, you know, when he snaps at someone. Have you heard anything to the contrary? Carry out your fucking orders along. Well, I might not have sworn, but I'm sure everyone that listens to this will know what I'm talking about. Their reactions were all wrong. For me, it was taken out of their hands. You understand? Whatever happened that day was taken out of their hands. They had something planned, something else happened, and then they took over again with their damage control. Yeah. Oh, it was 19 guys with box cutters, and along comes Judy Wood. You know, who's that? Dylan Avery. You know, I don't know about him. But he was one of the reasons I carried on looking into this. His videos were fascinating, brilliant. Maybe that's what they was for, you know. Keep you interested in all the wrong ways. Perhaps the big secret is they don't want us to ask questions about this other civilization, this better place. Maybe. But hold on a second. Right, so it looks cold and miserable. It's actually quite warm. It's not sunny, but yeah, it's not cold. Yeah, I've got them. Right, so for Tracy, book lovers, anime, favourite authors, I will continue to keep saying it. Phil, David Gemmell writes of the source. Okay? David Gemmell is my favourite author of all time. Of all time. Very easy to read. Immensely enjoyable. Hugely relatable. And just so much fun. And I do have a few other authors that I really like, but like with my music, not really into the authors so much as their ideas and their stories. For instance, Terry Pratchett. I've read The Colour of Magic, but no more of the Discworld novels. I've read Truckers, Diggers and Wings many times. They're flat earth books. I've read The Carpet People many times. That's a flat earth book. But not his Discworld novels, and not some of his other more out there, more personal books. I love the Lord of the Rings 3 books, but I don't like the Silmarillion and all that other stuff that goes along with it. That's not for me. I did read, my mum bought me one of the Christopher Tolkien book a few years ago. I'll have to have a look at the title for that. It's a Lewin or something like that. That was quite good. An author I've mentioned a few times that has influenced me in my drawing and my idea making for novels is Robin Jarvis. He wrote the Deptford Mice trilogies, and even as an adult, I'd say the Deptford Mice trilogies are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, especially if you're a Londoner or you're interested in London. If you're interested in Greenwich Park, the Observatory, Cutty Sark, it's all in there. I really enjoyed reading Treasure Island immensely. I enjoyed reading that very, very much. I struggled with Robinson Crusoe. And a lot of those old classics are the same for me. Some are easy, some are not. I've never read all of Shakespeare. I can't profess to be a fan or understand or know his works well. But I've picked up enough side information over the years to understand a lot about that man, shall we say, his works, shall we say. Now, I've come to my own conclusions about what it all means. Not finished conclusions, should I say? I shouldn't say conclusions then. I grew up reading Roald Dahl, and I know what many people say about Roald Dahl. It's very hard to dump so many childhood memories attached to that man and his stories and his books. In my old years, I did enjoy very much Richard Dawkins and his books, Michio Kaku and his books, the couple of Christopher Hitchens that I read. Brilliant. God is Not Great. Fascinating book. I really enjoyed 10, 12 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer. Oh my God, it is. No, it isn't. No, bad. No, it's bad. Brian Greene's book on string theory, theories of everything. I mentioned to Tracy, I'm not. I haven't read too many Graham Hancock books, but the very first conspiratorial book that I actually bought for myself with my wages that I'd earned was Talisman by Graham Hancock and Robert Bauval, and it was fascinating. I tried lending it to a couple of people. Nobody could get past the first chapter. I thought it was fascinating to find all that information, 5 or 10 years later on the internet, presented in a much easier format. It was amazing. And you know, I tried directing these people I lent the book to go to YouTube and watch this information. Nah, quite happy on Facebook. Yeah, quite happy watching. What's that? Hollyoaks. Oh my goodness! I hope it's still recording. I've read a lot of singular novels by authors that I say have lots of books. So Isaac Asimov and stuff. You know, he's got tons of books. I've only read one of his books. There's lots of authors like that. My mum buys me books from all sorts of charity shops, book fairs, from people that she's been giving them by, because everyone knows she likes books. Maybe at the end of this, just for Tracy and whoever else is interested, I'll add a little clip just of my bookshelves in my bedroom, which are primarily my fantasy books. And there are some authors in there that, you know, I spent an amount of time and money on. Bob Salvatore is one of them. And his Dark Elf series was brilliant. Still like it. Actually, I haven't read it for a long time. I think he's got like another 15 new books now, and I haven't read any of them. But the first 15, 20 were great. There are too many to reel off the top of my head. Too many good books. I will have to put aside some of my very favourite and just do showcases on each of them. As I've said many times before, okay, for anyone that likes all this conspiratorial stuff, particularly Atlantis and time travel, all these things, David Gemmell. If you're interested in an opinion of the source and astral walking, things along those lines, the Knights Templar, my goodness, the Knights Templar. Read David Gemmell. Okay, I couldn't recommend him more. He even writes a short trilogy, a duo on King Arthur. All right, there's Scottish Highland, Rob Roy type stories. Okay. The man was amazing. He mysteriously died of a heart attack at a certain age. And for those in the know, the lady he was married to, after he died, she wrote a book called The City, and it was about the most oppressive society you can imagine, living under just the most horrendous rules, and it's about people fighting back. It's a dark tale, but for me it was inspiring. Horrifying and inspiring, because it means that something happened to my favourite author, and I don't like to think of these things, because that makes it a very scary world. But if I am reading between the lines, as people say you can and should do, then David Gemmell's got a lot to tell people. His second wife is either Val or Stella Gemmell, whoever wrote The City, has a lot to tell people. Okay, and as far as I remember, she used to be a politician, or run for politician, or work for politicians, so she knows what she's talking about. She's an insider, so to speak. I don't think she is anymore. I don't think anybody would be after having their husband killed, unless, of course, she killed him. But who knows? But yeah, David Gemmell, favourite author. Tell me who you see.
When we asked EV1 drivers to tell us what they thought, nearly 24 showed up.
And we are not going to demand them. We're going to keep demanding that they build these cars again.
And there's something else that some folks have wanted me to talk about.
We're going to
thought nearly 24 showed up.
And we are not going to demand them. We're going to keep demanding that they
showed up.
And we are not going to demand them. We're going to keep demanding that they build these cars again.
Are we talking Judy Wood here? Well,
is that a crisis actress, Dr Judy Woods?
Feeling helpless, I think, is about the worst human emotion there is. And they've been trained to save lives.
I think that's a red herring, and I don't give Judy Wood any credibility whatsoever. So that's my answer to that whole issue. So
Something different was going on.
The greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Today and tomorrow are yet to be said. The chances, the changes are all yours to make. The mold of your life is in your hands to break. The greatest adventure is there if you're bold. Let go of the mold that life makes you hold. To measure the meaning can make you delay. It's time you stop thinking and wasting the day. The man who's a dreamer and never takes leave, who thinks of a world that is just make-believe, will never know passion, will never know pain. Who sits by the window will one day see rain. The greatest adventure is what lies ahead. Today and tomorrow are yet to be said. The chances, the changes are all yours to make. The mold of your life is in your hands to break.